This is going to be my attempt at making a Cantonese style scrambled eggs with shrimp served over rice. So here I have about half a pound of frozen shrimp that I have defrosted overnight in the fridge. These have shells on, and I'm going to use the shells to make a light shrimp stock. And I have eggs, some green onions, some super old ginger. And in terms of seasonings and condiments, I have sesame oil, mirin or Japanese cooking wine. Now traditionally, you would use like Chinese cooking wine or baijiu or even sake, but this stuff is fine. It's gonna have some sweetness. Some fish sauce, a little bit of baking soda, and some cornstarch. So for the rice, I'm gonna be cooking it in coconut milk because why not? I think it adds some fragrance and it adds some fat. So yeah, this is it. Now let's get started. First things first, I'm gonna get the rice cooking. This is 1 measuring cup of rice that I just rinsed. And in goes the coconut milk. Okay, it's looking good. And then I'm gonna add a few pinches of salt. The shrimp and egg dish is gonna be pretty salty, so I don't think I need too much salt in here. Just give the rice a little bit of seasoning. Lid goes on. I'll leave that alone. Okay, so I've peeled the shrimp and dried both the shrimp and the shells with paper towel because I'm gonna be toasting the shells a little bit in some oil and I don't wanna burn myself with the oil splatters. So that's that. And with the shrimp, I just want the marinade to cling on to the shrimp better. So now I'm going to hit it with some marinade. That's about a tablespoon of mirin, maybe a little bit more. About a teaspoon of fish sauce. About 1/3 of a teaspoon baking soda. Really don't need much of this stuff. A couple heaping teaspoons of cornstarch. I really want the marinade to stick on the shrimp. And obviously, good old NaCl. Almost forgot, but a nice drizzle of sesame oil. Now it turns out I needed even more cornstarch, so I added another 2 teaspoons, but this is looking pretty good. I've essentially created almost like a batter, which is gonna protect the shrimp from overcooking. And now this is gonna sit here and marinate while I make some shrimp stock. While I was waiting for the pot to heat up, I cut up the green onions and I'm gonna use some of the white part with the shrimp shell to make the stock. I feel like it brings more aroma, and same thing with the ginger. So now, the pan was getting a little bit too hot. I took it out of the heat, but this is looking pretty good. This is corn oil, vegetable oil. Like olive oil is not used very extensively in Chinese cooking. This is about, I'd say 1.5 to 2 tablespoons. Let the oil heat up a little bit. I want it to smoke ever so slightly. That feels right. That sounds right too. The shells have taken on some color. And that's exactly what I want. More color, more flavor. Gordon Ramsay, 2005 or something. Now the wok is getting a little dry, so I'm just going to go in with an extra teaspoon of oil. It really smells amazing. It smells like a stir fry because of the ginger and green onion. Okay, so here I have a quart container full of what I call chicken juice. I used this water to poach chicken breast earlier. So it's basically just water, but I want to believe that this is a super light chicken stock and it's going to add some flavor. So this is going in. That's the stuff. Okay. So I'm going to turn the heat all the way up to high and bring this to a boil, and then let this kind of reduce a little bit. And it's kind of like steeping tea. I want to extract the most out of this stuff here. Stock is bubbling. I've cracked my eggs, 4 of them. Four pinches of salt. Very scientific, very measured out. I'm gonna beat them up. Beat your eggs, don't beat your kids. What? Very well beaten eggs. That's also on standby. And this looks and smells amazing. I'm gonna let it reduce a little bit more because I don't need that much liquid for the dish. And then I'll strain it and we'll proceed with the shrimp. I've strained out the shrimp stock, cleaned the pan, and look at this. Look at this. Ooh. The essence of shrimp. This is gonna come in handy very soon. But for now, oh, by the way, the rice is done. I'm going to cook the shrimp a little bit. I want them to set on the outside, and yeah, just get some color going before I put them in with the rest of the dish. Hot pan, vegetable oil. Okay. So that was a disaster. Anyways, we carry on, and And now I'm adding the shrimp stock. Just eyeballing it. This is about, I don't know, 1.5 cups. And I want to bring this to a boil. Yeah, stock's boiling. Green onion going in. I know this is a lot of green onion, but I love it. Season. I want to go heavy on salt here. Now here's the tricky part. I'm going to turn the heat down. Don't want this to reduce too much. And I'm going to pour some of this stock in the bowl. And then add a whole lot of cornstarch and make a total mess. I think this is a good amount. And vigorously stir to combine. And now, the slurry goes in. Okay. Heat goes back on, or back up rather. Now I want to stir this to make sure that it kind of forms a gravy. Now it is getting rather thick, so I'm adding the rest of my shrimp stock to loosen it up. And this is going to serve as like a safety net for the eggs to go in. Heat back down. Egg going in. Heat back up a little bit. I'm trying to push the egg mixture around. The ratio of egg to the slurry is a little bit off, but we're gonna have to live with it. And now the shrimp goes back in. Okay, don't hit me with this splatter. Okay, cool. Shrimp goes back in. I just gently kind of mix everything together. Now the heat can be off at this point. Okay, that's about done. I'm gonna plate it up. That was a train wreck, but what's important is if the food tastes good, so I'll let you know about that right now. It definitely tastes better than it looks. The egg gravy sauce situation is a umami bomb, and I didn't add any MSG. It's mostly from the shrimp shell, from the shrimp stock. This is a classic Hong Kong like tea restaurant dish. You have this for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and this is how they serve it. make the dish and they pour the stuff over rice. Now, of course, you can go through the extra effort to make a fried rice to put on the bottom. And that's obviously gonna make everything taste even better. But this is pretty good. Okay, this is this is a bit out of control. Okay, I made can't talk now, obviously. I made a few mistakes. That's why it looks like a total disaster. I shouldn't have added the extra 2 teaspoons of starch into the shrimp marinade. So the shrimp mixture got too wet, and the starch obviously got stuck on the bottom of the pan when it hit, high heat. So that was a disaster. And also, the amount of liquid that I put in the gravy / sauce / scrambled egg. Like, look at this. This is a mountain of scrambled eggs. It's almost like there's a plane flying by now. But it's almost like a cross between a properly made Cantonese style scrambled eggs and an egg drop soup. But hey, I'll eat all of this. Considering this is my first attempt, I think I did pretty okay. Another reason why I added way too much liquid is I didn't want to waste the shrimp stock. That's literally liquid gold. Oh, this is a lot of food. This was interesting. This was chaotic, messy, but it still tastes good. I literally just watched a YouTube video on this, I think yesterday, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I have shrimp in the freezer. I have 2,000 eggs in my fridge, so I might as well make this. Thanks for watching. And if you're here and you haven't subscribed, maybe subscribe, I don't know. Anyways, I'm out.